You ready? Alright. Look, dog, I'm extra unique. My whole aura screen telling it. Stop playing!
Dunlap here with the Underrated Podcast. As we begin to kick off our podcast and beginning, I'm here with, of course, my co-host from Westside High School of Houston, graduate, then went to A&M Corpus Christi for a year, freshman year, then Paris Junior College where you're a conference champion, all-region team, UNT where you graduated communications degree, regular season champion, conference champion, 13-year pro career, 2-time MVP, 3-time scoring champion, multiple-time first and second team, coast to coast like butter and toast, internationally known, the man himself, Shannon Shorter.
What's up, man? You good?
Pleasure to be here.
But you make me sound
with you, bro.
You make me sound amazing. I swear.
Hey,
you got.
I left something out. H-Town Pro-Am, 4-time champion, 4-time MVP, scoring record 63 points. Where I was a witness there, seen it myself, man. But I want to go to the time frame where you graduated from college. Well, let's start with the transition from high school when you went to A&M Corpus Christi and you got there. And I know when you made that decision to go there, it was kind of pressure from your mom and another coach. Kind of talk to me about your time there at A&M Corpus Christi and what led to that initial change.
A&M Corpus, that was a blessing in disguise, I guess you can call it, because it hindsight 2020, it taught me about being true to yourself. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because I made that decision based on the pressure of other people, my mom, my AAU coach. I was already committed. I was already had my mind made up where I was going. I only went on a visit there because of the coach called John Lucas. Mm-hmm. John Lucas called my mama. We already had a good relationship. Said, look, just take a visit, just see how it goes. He's a good friend of mine. We go on a visit. Everything, the coach says everything that, people want to hear, and etc. And from there, I commit, I sign. It started off amazing the first month, 2 months. I did well. And then he just benched me. Totally benched me. I didn't, out the blue. And, I don't got no love lost for Perry Clark. I got love for B. Merritt. I got love for Coach Stink Norris, who at Maryland now. I still talk to this day, but he just benched me. And then at the end of the season, the way I'm built, I was just like, look, I'm gonna just get back in the lab. Yeah. I'm gonna refocus. I'm gonna figure this out. Yeah. He told me, look, if you want to leave, I'll help you get your release. And that was new to me because that wasn't even a thought for me. Right. But that showed me where his mind was in that situation with me. And I moved on to Paris Junior College, met Ross Hodge, who we call the mayor, and he changed my life. He believed in me. He gave me opportunity, and we had a really good season. We lost in the regional final, but I still have a great relationship with him to this day. From there, I went to North Texas, and at North Texas, we was very successful as a team. Yeah. I had a certain role within the team where I really couldn't showcase everything I could. But I mean, it makes sense. I don't knock head coaches because, again, like, they get paid to win. Yeah. If they lose, that's taking money and food out their family mouth.
Going back to A&M Corpus Christi in that time, it wasn't like the transfer portal where you could put your name in the portal. So we got to preface there by our viewers as they understand you getting ready to release, and there's an uncertainty of what's next. But you just talked about a mindset that I like to have and I want to touch upon, because it's a lot of times in this time where people play victim and versus internalizing what they can do to get better in situations that they can't control. Right. So kind of take me to that mind state, how you developed that, and what was it like to kind of internalize, what? I ain't gonna blame the coach like you just said. I'm gonna work on and get better in preparation for this next season. And I think that mindset helped prepare you to all the accomplishment that you did today.
That's a good question. I think at a young age, I learned just by watching my mom's, like, she was a hustler. And when I say that, like, she grew up in South Park. Yeah. She was in education for 30 years. Growing up in A-Leaf, we stayed in PV Park Village apartments. She was a cool cup lady, right? So seeing that and just understanding, like, oh, you're gonna do whatever it takes to make sure we in a position where we don't feel uncomfortable. And we were still comfortable being uncomfortable. You see what I'm saying? And so I learned that from my moms of just how to just put one foot in front of the other every day. Don't complain, but contribute. You feel what I'm saying? Because what's complaining gonna do?
Right.
It's gonna build up a sense of stress, a sense of woe is me type spirit when every individual is in control of what they can do and what they can't do.
Right.
It ain't nobody else's problem. It ain't nobody else's fault. Everything is a you issue.
Yeah.
Now, how you operate behind that, that's on you. But once you internalize and realize, like, this start with me and end with me, life will be so much smoother.
It's a saying I like to say, if it is to be, it's up to me. You know what I'm saying? And transitioning from like Paris Junior College, we had a good year. Our region team, you just mentioned when y'all lost, y'all should have won the chip, because I just kind of doing my homework, I seen that some of the players was on that team, and y'all had a really good team. You decided to come back home to Texas, but down the street to my hometown, Dallas, to UNT, in which you had a coach there that kind of handicapped your game, actually told you, don't shoot the ball, I'll take you out. And so within that, that's another place of adversity, especially as a hooper. How did you maneuver through that, and how was your time there, as you knew after that last season you was kind of preparing for what was next?
Yeah, so my time at North Texas was phenomenal because we won. You feel what I'm saying? And so, like, I was just doing anything I could just to be on the floor, right? But at the same time, the worst player you can be is the player who looks over his shoulder every time something happens in the game. You nervous, you trying to figure out, like, is he about to pull me now? Did I do something wrong? Instead of just playing freely. You know what I'm saying? One of the most dangerous animals is a pit bull off the leash. You feel what I'm saying? Because it has no wherewithal of what's going on. It's just off instinct, impulse. Freely. You feel what I'm saying? So for me, when he used to tell me that in practice and tell me, like, don't shoot, you open for a reason, and etc., like, it did something to me. It had me in a dark space, especially with my confidence, because people don't know words carry weight. You know what I'm saying? Life and death is in the power of the tongue. So whatever you say, whatever you push out there, whatever you put on somebody else, and then you start believing that can be a trickle down effect on your mental. So when I graduated from North Texas and came back home, I started working out with Coach Lucas every day. We was working out 3-4 times a day, and that was a season of probably like a year and a half, almost 2 years before I got my first opportunity.
And going into that uncertainty time where you just grinding, I know you had a side job where you was working a little bit to make ends meet. But what was that space like as a hooper, having aspirations to go pro, not getting the call, steady being told no, but still having the mental fortitude to keep putting the work in, and kind of manifestation in your head and in your mind, and putting the work behind action? Because a lot of people say they want to do things, but on a day-to-day basis, are you doing the work that can get you to where you're trying to go? And it sounds like you did that, and your career speaks for itself. So tell me about that part of it, the mental part of it, of the uncertainty. Am I going to get an opportunity? Pressures from your family, your moms, needing to make ends meet because you're from a single mother family, I believe. So kind of take me back to that time. What it was like in that moment when you're working out with Coach Lewis and preparing for a professional career?
That was a moment in my life where I read in this book, it said uncertainty is probably the best place you can be. Right? Because it said that because you can go this way, you can go this way. It ain't really no straight road you can go. It's really just off your action. You know what I'm saying? Like, off your belief, off your faith. Like, you can go down a rabbit hole, or you can go find a treasure at the end of a rainbow, so to speak. You see what I'm saying? So I was in a space of so much uncertainty, and it was a season where my mom wasn't working. They had just cut my brother out. I was at his job. He had just had my niece. So it was a lot of like stress and tension in my household, right? And through that stress and tension, you know, money can affect your mental. Factual, real question, real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you broke and don't know what's next, I understand why people don't be patient enough to see it through, because they in a season at that moment in time where they in survival mode. And when you in survival mode, you're gonna do anything to make it work.
Yeah.
So I understand why the D-boy on the block going, man, I got to move these pounds.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? Because they like, jobs ain't answering the phone. I didn't put in applications, which I did.
Right.
Nobody answered. I remember one time I put in an application to Walmart. They thought I was a female. They was like, oh yeah, this job was for a female. I'm sorry, whoop whoop, because I got a unisex name.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just in a space where I'ma just control what I can control. So I used to go to the gym 4 and 5 times a day, working out with Big Lucas. And then after workouts, I didn't have gas money. So I'll just park at the gym, sleep in the car sometime, sleep in the gym. My man Tony Washington used to keep the gym open for me. He was like, look, just chill here till the next workout. And that was my everyday routine for a year and a half, like clockwork. I get back home like 7, 8 p.m. By that time, you know, a lot of tension, a lot of stress then died down. The day pretty much over. We can go to sleep, wake up the next day, and get right back to it.
Did you have an agent at this point? At what point within that did you find the agent, and how did you get that first call? I know just from doing my research and watching preference interviews on you, you referenced getting that first call to where you eventually started in Mexico.
Yeah.
What was in the original timeline they were discussing? When did you get that call? Did you have an agent? How did it come about?
So I had an agent initially, and pretty much he just stopped calling me. Like just out the blue, like probably like 6 months into it, just stopped calling me and was just like continuously told me no, right? To a point where I was just like, I just need one yes. And I thank God for my homie Steve Walton, who I grew up with his brothers. I've been knowing him since like 5th, 6th grade, him and his family. He gave me a call one day, this a year and a half in, almost 2 years in, after I graduated. And was like, hey, Short, look, I'm going to Mexico, I'm taking the travel team. It's a good opportunity. And I felt like if I go, I can get an opportunity. If I stay, you're gonna be in the same situation you've been in yesterday. So what could you lose? You only could gain.
Right.
So we went out there that Friday. We drove out there, drove across the border, and we played the top team in Mexico that the previous season, who just won the championship. I had a good game. Had like 30 points, something like that. GM come up to me right after the game. Take my information. I don't think nothing of it. I done got so many no's by this time that I'm just like, whatever come of this gonna come. 3 days later, he called me. I'm riding out Dairy Ashford, about to be at Dairy Ashford in the West. I'm at that 24.
Okay.
He called me and say, hey, Shorty, I got a team for you. When can you leave? I was like, bro, I could have left yesterday. He said, okay, let me finalize everything. Give me a couple days. Boom. A week go by, I don't hear nothing. He called me on a Friday night. He was like, yeah, I was just about to call you. You leave tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. It's 11:30 at night. I go in my room, start packing my bag. My mom coming there like, what you doing? I was like, Mama, we good. She dropped me off at the airport. She don't believe me until she dropped me off at the airport. She started crying. I was like, Mama, we on now. Went to Mexico, averaged 28, led the league in scoring. 13 years later, we here.
How much knowledge did you have of the European professional game? Because me, as a casual basketball fan, I'm not very knowledgeable of the opportunities that present themselves over there. For someone who had aspirations to get professional, whether it be overseas, wherever the opportunity presented itself, how much knowledge did you know of the opportunity that was out there to be able to, like you said, Mama, we're good. I'm finna be able to put this work in, and I'm gonna go from here to here as long as I keep doing what I know I can do.
I mean, I think it always go back to the cliche statement where they always say, if you good enough, they gonna find you.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? And I had built up so much sweat equity in Luke Jim going against a J.R. Smith, a Johnny Flynn, a Will Barton, Andre Blatch, like real life killers.
Yeah.
That like by the time I got over there, I was like, I know I'm nicer than you, but you was already in a position where you can execute on the gift you had inside of you.
Okay.
I just ain't get the opportunity, but the opportunity now. So with this opportunity, I know what I'm finna do with it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I didn't worry about like what I need to know to get to this level. My whole mindset was like, I'm finna destroy you because I know where I came from. I know the situations I went through, like real life situations, like. Niggas would have folded in these situations type time. You feel what I'm saying? But I stayed true to myself. I believed in myself. I knew if I got one opportunity, what would come of it. And thank God.
Started out making, what was it, $500 for that first opportunity?
$500 a month, sleeping in a twin bed in Mexico. Guns pulled up on me by the cartel type time. It was a real situation. Sending about $350 back to the crib. Mom still wasn't working. You see what I'm saying? So it was a real situation, but I was grateful for that opportunity for Luis Garcia in Mexico, because he told me straight up, he was like, look, I don't got bread. I only got this amount of money, but I'm going to put the ball in your hands, and that's all you need. Is just somebody believe in you and give you opportunity. That I feel like that go further than $100,000 right now. You see what I'm saying? Because everything is in your situation. It's in your hands. Like, you control the narrative. It ain't on the next person. He telling you this what I'm gonna do. Now you just gotta believe in what you gotta do. Just revert back to your training.
How do you apply that mentality into your everyday life? Because you also, like you mentioned, of having people that believe in you, got to have your only rights foundation that you begin and you look to give back. Do you implement that mindset in other areas and inspire that to the youth with your foundation as well?
Absolutely. With the scholarship giveaway, for sure. I think we done gave away probably upwards of 100,000 in scholarships, and I just believe, just my belief, like I feel like if you invest in a young person, right, and show them like, look, I believe in what you're trying to accomplish, right? You trying to go to school, you trying to get your education, you want this degree. I feel like if they see that action behind that check, $1,000 check, whoop to whoop, whatever you want to call it, when they in a real situation where they don't feel like getting up, where they gotta study for a test, where they feel like they finna drop out, they having these real thoughts about like, this ain't for me type time. I feel like they gonna remember, nah, somebody believed in me. And I always think about the in the Bible when Joseph was in the pit, when he was in prison, and he helped out the cupbearer and the other individual for the king, right? When they left, all he said was just remember me. You feel what I'm saying? Like I'm still in this situation. I'm going through a real situation. I just need you to remember me when you go to the king. I helped you, just help me out. And that's what I feel like what I do for kids when I'm blessing them with scholarships. I believe in you, I'm helping you, just finish out what you said you're gonna do.
13-year pro career. I know you said when you started that you wanted to play until you're 40.
Yeah.
Not quite 40 yet. I don't know if you want to date yourself, age yourself.
Yeah, I'm 35, blessed.
Okay. Yeah. I'm 34, 90s baby. You know what I'm saying? But at that time, you got the foundation. With you also, I want to talk about you being married.
Yeah.
That's another important thing, especially as black men. You came from a single mother household just like I did as well. But I'm also a father who is inspiring to be a husband. But I want to ensure that I have the right disciplines within myself to be the right husband that I know I should be.
That's a good word.
And over these last couple of years within my life, I've been practicing self-discipline to not have some of the little boy tactics. We're trying to have multiple women, all the things I did out my whole life, and really knowing the type of man, leader, father for my children, and eventually husband. So with you being a husband, tell me the importance of that within that marriage, how you match your spouse, and your view on marriage.
So I feel like my view on marriage is pretty much biblical, just unconditional love, right? And so I met my wife when I was 16, high school. We went to the same high school. And we was real good friends for a very long time before we even like jumped down into a relationship and etc. And so be where we are now, I wouldn't say it was like planned or anything, you know what I'm saying? But I just know my wife, she just need me to do what I say I'm gonna do. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because she not paying attention to my words. She really just locking in on what I do. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like showing up every day, being graceful. You know what I'm saying? Being intentional with my time with her. You know what I'm saying? Loving her the way she need to be loved. You know what I'm saying? Forgiving, listening. You know what I'm saying? Everything that I know she needs, I try to show up. And when I fall short, I'm the first person who say, look, that was me. I take full accountability. I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? And she hold me accountable too. Anything I say I want to do, anything I say I'm gonna do, please believe she paying attention.
Yeah.
Any woman in the world though, that ain't just my wife. I'm just speaking you know, hypothetically. I feel like any woman in the world, they gonna pay attention to what you do more than what you say. You win the heart with your actions. You feel what I'm saying? Like, and so marriage to me is very blissful. It's very hard, but it's a beautiful thing if you keep God at the center and maneuver it the right way.
I know some of the things that you just mentioned. Same thing for my woman of my kids. She holds me accountable. She inspires me and holds me to a certain standard of being honest, of being transparent, being vulnerable. And it sounds like the same thing that your woman holds you to, those principles. But with an inspiring parent coming from a single parent household, do you feel it's important to have that foundation of marriage to introduce that to the children, potentially for yourself if you choose to have some one day?
Absolutely. Like, I just feel like my whole thought process.
Because it's part of the thing I said you, but let me correct it.
Nah, absolutely. I feel like growing up, my whole thought process on relationships was all the way off because the environment I grew up in. Like, I ain't see no man love his woman properly. You feel what I'm saying? Like, my mama, she grew up single mother, so she raised us. She ain't bring men around. Hell no. You feel what I'm saying? Like, the only marriage I seen that was blissful in my family was probably my mama's sister, my auntie, and my uncle, and my cousin. I got a cousin who's been married for a very long time, but that wasn't in my household to where I can like see like, oh, this how you supposed to love your woman. This how a woman's supposed to treat her man type time. You feel what I'm saying? So just to be able to have this, and I know how my family view me.
What you mean?
Like, I just know the space and place as far as being me and how my family view me because of what I've accomplished. Like, my family ain't traveling out the country. Like, I got cousins that still don't know what's outside of South Park. You feel what I'm saying? So, like, to just be able to accomplish what I'm accomplishing and in essence break like a generational curse of like marriage, because that's not big in my family. I know that brings them joy, and I know how they feel when they see this. You see what I'm saying? And just everything I'm doing and everything I'm accomplishing, that's what I meant when I say I know how they view me. You feel what I'm saying? So marriage is very important. I hold it to a high standard because of experiences I've been through.
I know we talked about relationship, marriage, but you keep having Bible references. How does your foundation on religion and faith develop?
So I didn't grow up in the church. Like, I was one of them people that used to go to the church house only during Easter, Christmas, Mother's Day. You feel what I'm saying? But I had a praying sister who just prayed for me just at random moments. Like, in high school, she'll just come put oil on my forehead and start praying. You know what I'm saying? And like, she fasted for me and prayed for me. So like, I feel like that's where the foundation started, and she was committed. You feel what I'm saying? So like, when I got to college, when I was at North Texas, I used to go to this like Bible study class they used to invite us to, and then that's when it started like really like shifting for me. So when I came home from college, when I was down, I just opened the Bible. Because I felt like I ain't have really nowhere else to go. Really, nobody really understood me, what I was really going through. And I feel like the Bible gives you everything that you may be going through. It answers all them questions. You just got to really sit down, read it, meditate on it, and God gonna speak to you. You feel what I'm saying? And so it was a journey, it was a process for sure, but it definitely started with my sister prayers. Because, I don't know what I'd have been doing without them, for sure.
Also, I know that you mentioned as you continue, now you're kind of going year from year from as you decide to when you want to transition. But you got a communications degree. I know we chopped it up offline when we had that first call. You was like, man, I'm trying to look for different areas that what I want to get into, and I didn't even know you had a communication degree at the time. You didn't mention it, but once I looked it up, I'm like, dang, he got a communication degree. And so what kind of led us to here? What led you to us sitting down here today? I know our conversation that we had that kind of led to it, but previous to that, you was like, I've been thinking about it. This is kind of confirmation. So kind of tell me about that.
All my homies know, like I'ma debate you till the wheels fall out, and I'ma win.
Who better, Dallas or Houston?
At what? Basketball, football? What you talking about?
Whatever city.
Oh, Houston, the livest city I've ever been to.
Okay.
Without question.
Yeah, I agree.
You feel me? But so like me just loving to debate like sports, really sports. I ain't gonna say like politics and all, but really sports and just other.
We got some debates for the Dallas and Houston pros basketball. That's
Houston,
another debate for another show.
It's not even a debate, but like I was saying, so me knowing I love the debate and seeing what Stephen A. Smith be doing, that's what drew me to pretty much wanting to be in the media space, right? And then the podcast, Underrated, I just knew I had a story, right, that can resonate with a lot of people. I've heard people tell me like, bro, you need to tell your story, bro. Your story crazy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so when I tapped you, I was really just trying to like tell you just to understand what I'm about to get myself into if I do take this route. Yeah. And the conversation led to, nah, bro, I think you really need to just jump down with a podcast, which I had already been thinking about, but I didn't really know how to navigate and move and maneuver to get to this point.
And also, you started Dog Work LLC.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
That started because, like I said, when I was down bad, it was like just a mantra I would say to myself just to keep me going. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you got to encourage yourself. You feel what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to put them words in yourself because them circumstances, them situations, that idle time when you sitting by yourself, the realest conversations you gonna have is with yourself.
Most definitely.
You feel what I'm saying? So that was really just a mantra to just get up every day. And then I just know like you can put a pit bull in any environment. Any environment. It may be scared, but you gonna hear his bark. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. It's gonna show up. Might get beat up, might get his head torn off, whatever, but you gonna feel it. You feel what I'm saying? And that's really just the mantra I had. Just show up every day. Make sure they feel you, no matter what the circumstance may look like.
You said something that, and it made me think of a quote that I heard Fred Taylor say on the Pivot podcast, with exposure leads to expansion. Yeah. And with you being exposed to so many different things and expanding your mind with all you can accomplish, the world, just everything, and having family, when you get back, you hear the conversations and hear just the outlook on how it's boxed in, really because they haven't seen it to be able to expand their minds to know what they can do. Yeah. And I think that trickles down back to the foundation with the children as well. So how much within that do you try to reach the underrated, the kids, your family, and talk about and inspiring them to see more and do more, or helping them even do that yourself?
Yeah, so I feel like that's like big for me, just to touch the overlooked, the ones that feel like they don't have a voice, and etc. Because I was in that situation. You feel what I'm saying? Like growing up, we was on Spice Lane. I'm 8 deep, Stone Ridge Apartments, 2-bedroom with my cousins. We sleep on the floor. We sleep on the twin bed. We surviving off Wiesners. You feel what I'm saying? So I understand real situations that people go through. Yeah. Like I can relate. You feel what I'm saying? So like me getting to this position I'm at today and understanding that you still ain't no different than the next person. Right. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody got something they go through. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So understanding that and realizing I got a voice, I got an impact, I know people watching. That's important for me to just continuously let people know, like, nah, I'm with you. Yeah. Don't get it twisted. Just because you see me in certain arenas, certain avenues, or whatever the case may be, don't get it twisted. I'm still with you.
If you enjoyed this episode, continue to stay along this journey with us here on the Underrated Podcast. We're going to continue to have guests on and talk about their stories, their challenges, how they felt underrated, and how they kept going, and just more real life conversations. We're going to debate sports. We got that Houston, Dallas debate coming, plenty more. And so if you like it, stay tuned.
Top man!